Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I will talk about the comparison between the previous official Gran Turismo wheel and the current one. After being the official wheel for Gran Turismo 5, 6 and Sport, the honor was passed in the summer of 2021 to Fanatec. First off, I will discuss the pedals, followed by the steering wheel and ending with the base itself. A conclusion will follow, and to the end of the video the best round of both wheelbases on the test track with the video footage of how the wheel and pedals react. The price for the TGT when it came out was €799, but it could at certain times be bought with a nice discount. The GT DD Pro will cost you €699 for the 5Nm version. The pedal's exterior looks very different. It's the completely inverse actually. So you have here the pedals, they are completely out of metal. The base is completely out of metal, except for the pedal faces. Those are in plastic. And with the T3PA you have the inverse, so you have the entire thing which is made out of plastic, and you have the pedal faces which are metal. The technology used in the T3PA to measure acceleration and braking forces is the potentiometer versus the Hall sensors in the CSL pedals. In the long run, the Hall sensors will provide more accurate readings due to its design. It is difficult to tell what springs feels better, but when driving I noticed that a few times when I left my foot to rest on the brake pedal of the T3PA, it did register some braking force. Now, after paying some attention, I could avoid this, but still, this was not an issue with the CSL pedals. The CSL pedals, and this might be important for people that need to race quietly, standard do make loud metal clunks when releasing or pressing the accelerator pedal suddenly. Another very interesting feature is that the pedal base of the CSL pedals is very configurable to find a more optimal position for your feet. This is a bit lacking with the T3PA, where you can just shift the pedal faces a bit vertical and horizontal. In all, the pedal base of the GT DD Pro is a large improvement over the standard T3PA pedals. However, if you spend already this much money on a package, a load cell equipped pedal base would be advised. So the steering wheel is designed in collaboration with Polyphony Digital, but we don't know in which extent the design was completely done by Polyphony Digital. The colors and general design seem to match, both black with chrome on the bottom. I like these colors a lot. Both are 28 cm in diameter, and it actually looks like a wheel you can find in a sporty car. The flappy pedals, they're not bad, but I prefer them on the GT DD Pro because those are curved, and these ones are more like flat. Both steering wheels have a large array of buttons, and for people that prefer soberness or above functionality, it is not something positive. However, there is a real difference here, being the implementation of the buttons on the steering wheel. Fanatec opted to use 4 extra joysticks for the steering wheel to change settings like traction control, brake bias and fuel consumption. Thrustmaster chose 4 buttons that could be turned. Both work and do their task, however, I find it easier to just give a light turn on the button rather than to push a joystick. Another disadvantage of a joystick is that when you need to do some serious turning, you are more prone to accidentally touch the joystick and change a setting. It's a small detail, of course. And yeah, the buttons in general are just better. With better, I mean the finishing. The traditional PlayStation buttons are mechanical, which can be noticed by the touch and feel. It feels more premium than the ordinary buttons used on a controller or the GT DD Pro. The paint used for the buttons is also different. For the GT DD Pro, they are just printed on them, which after some usage will cause for the print to fade. The TGT has another transparent coating over the paint. Again, a small detail, but it all adds up. The turning buttons I talked about earlier are also in metal with a subtle color code worked into it. The rest of the buttons and 2 small joysticks are tucked away as much as possible to not disturb the design too much. So there was a comment about the review of the GT DD Pro. Yeah, plastic fantastic it was for the steering wheel, and I was like, yep, no. If Thrustmaster does it and it is wrong, then it's certainly wrong for Fanatec. I'm very sorry, but when I put my hands on a 700 euro wheel, I expect it to feel different than a Thrustmaster T150. And that, for me, is what separates both the rims in terms of quality the most. The leather, it stays nice. It has been used and abused for a few years now, and it's still nice to touch. But of course, there are some added features you have on the rim of the GT DD Pro. It has a display. I have been racing now with this car for like 40 rounds, so yesterday and today, 40 rounds on this track. I have looked at the display exactly one time during that 40 laps. But this of course doesn't mean that the display can't be handy for configuration, of course. The other added feature is the Rev Counter. I drive more on the sound of the engine to shift than that I have to look at the Rev Counter, because I have a Rev Counter in front of me as well in the view. I don't see the added value. What is, however, a very large plus is the quick release system. On the Thrustmaster, a very rudimentary system, while the Fanatec uses a more user-friendly system. While they look alike and on a picture don't seem to be that much different apart from the display and Rev Counter, they are very much different, and the Thrustmaster rim sticks out with head and shoulders above the Fanatec one. And then, of course, the most important part of this package, the base. The GT DD Pro is the first official Gran Turismo direct drive wheel. For some more information about this subject, you can click the link I provided. The design and materials used for the base are for me clearly won by Fanatec. The extra aluminium in it and in general neutral but classy design are a deciding factor. The difference in power between the Fanatec and Thrustmaster is noticeable after driving for a while. With 6.2 Nm, the Thrustmaster is more powerful than the 5 Nm from the GT DD Pro. Of course, here there is an 8 Nm base available, but it will also cost you €150 more. Both the TGT and GT DD Pro have enough power for a moderate user like myself. What is different is the sensation while driving. Driving with the GT DD Pro is best described as driving on a bowling lane. It goes so very smooth and glides over the surface with ease, sending only the necessary information to you in a very direct manner. It is an absolute dream to drive with and as precise as a surgeon in the corners. I like this wheel. It's the smoothest out there in the mid segment, absolutely. It is an upgrade for every wheel. So is this also an upgrade for the TGT? The answer to that is not that easy to answer because A, the technology is different, and B, the TGT has the extra feature TDFB. The thing with this wheel is that although it is less, in my eyes, less precise, but it does give you the extra sentiment of being in a real car because of the vibrations. If you drive a car, well, you have vibrations all the time. I mean, you're not driving on an airport runway. You can experience these extra vibrations as a pollution of the force feedback or as an enrichment to the driving experience. For me, especially during the test drive with the stock car I chose, I really enjoyed the straights where I could feel the pedal base vibrate with the acceleration of the car. The catch with this gimmick is that it only works on Gran Turismo Sport and 7. While it is very clear to me what is the best rim and pedals in these packages, it is absolutely only personal preference that dictates the better base. So, if you want a conclusion for me to say which is the best package or if you should upgrade, well, I can't say more than what I said before, but I can tell you that in my opinion, upgrading to a Fanatec GT DD Pro from a TGT or TGT2 to play Gran Turismo 7 is not worth it. Now for the testing, I spread it over 2 days with a 10-lap session of both wheels on each day with a changing start order. The track I chose is the Red Bull Ring, which has some decent corners, and the car, well, since I just made it in Lego, I just had to drive it rear-engined and rear-wheel drive, the fantastic DeLorean. It's a drivetrain I never really explored much, so it promised to be a very interesting run. The first to go is the Challenger Fanatec GT DD Pro. Thank you all for watching. I believe this must be the longest video I made so far. It also took a lot of time, so I hope you can appreciate this. Don't forget the subscription, like or comment for support, and I will see you all next video.